Okay, good morning, guys. So as we discussed yesterday, today I'm going to start today we are going to discuss about JDBC request sampler. Okay. So what does a JDBC request sampler does? What is a JDBC request sampler first of all, and what does it do?
The database test plans.
Database,
Test plan.
database test plan.
You can run SQL queries.
We can write a SQL queries and update the username and password.
Right. So we can do database testing also. We can do database testing also with JMeter, and we can run some SQL queries with the JDBC request sampler. Okay. So and yesterday I had explained the context, right? In which scenarios we use that, or in which scenarios this will become helpful, isn't it? 1 second. In which scenarios that will be useful? Suppose, I had shown you that setup thread group where, like if you, I had shown you one application, right? I shown you one application where, you cannot create a UI script for this. Of course, if you have admin rights, you can do that. Let the application load. Okay, somehow it is not loading in somehow it's not loading in Chrome browser but working in Edge browsers. Other browsers it's working. Hey, what happened? Refresh. Update invalid. Let me try in some other browser. In Firefox, I'll have proxy setting for JMeter. Let me remove it. Let me go to the default one. Okay, and try to access advanced. Accept the risk and continue. See, for example, this kind of applications, we don't have a UI, we don't have a provision to create users for the normal login, isn't it? We can't create, there is no provision to do user registration from the application front end, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So in that cases, and one more thing that we discussed is like regarding setup thread group. Suppose you want to create some user IDs in the beginning of the test, isn't it? We want to create user logins with some, okay. No, sorry. So not this. No, this doesn't apply here. This is HTTPS calls, right? So in case you want to create some user IDs on the database side directly on the backend, right? Directly on the database, then you can this JDBC request sampler will be helpful. Okay, this JDBC request sampler will be helpful. And now how to use that JDBC request sampler? And let me show you the slide, corresponding slide also on JDBC sampler. Yeah. So this sampler lets you send a JDBC request, means a SQL query to the database, right? Before using this, you need to set up a JDBC connection configuration element, right? And then we also need to copy the jar file, this jar file, MySQL connector Java 8.0.21 jar to the JMeter lib.exe directory. To make this work, like you have to copy this jar file to the JMeter lib.exe directory. Okay. Right. So then like I think I had a screenshot on the JDBC request sampler also. No? Okay. Now, what does this connection? What does this connection configuration element does? So it will actually create a database connection. It will create a database connection, and the connection configuration name is used by the JDBC sampler to select the appropriate connection. Now let us understand this pattern used by the JDBC request. Let us understand this part. Okay. So if you remember yesterday, I had added one connection configuration element, JDBC connection configuration element, and you need to give some variable name to the created pool. Okay. Pool means here connection pool, JDBC connection pool. So we need to give some name to this, and then we need to pass some values over here to establish a. See, first if you want to insert from some database, right? Sorry. If you want to insert some data into the database, first you need to have a connection with the database. right? So on that connection, once you get a connection, or once you get a connection, then only you can insert some data into the database. Now, what details are required to connect to a database? If you remember, did we discuss this? What are the details required to connect to the database? Did we discuss this anytime? Yes. These are the details required to connect to the database. Database name, port number, credentials, right? Details required to connect to a database from the database pool, right? You either need database name or database URL. Remember this. Either database name or database URL. Anything is fine. Okay. Database name or URL. I'll modify it here. And then port number of the database. And then credentials, means access credentials to the database. You should have access to the DB. You should have that username and password, or you should have that access to the database. Now, for this demonstration purpose, I will use we had installed one database on our machine, right? What is that? What is the database that we had set up previously?
MySQL.
MySQL database, right? So okay, it's 1 minute. So we are starting a new batch tomorrow and getting some inquiry calls. Saturday. Saturday we are starting a new batch for JMeter, guys. By the way, 1 second. So we are starting a new batch, guys, June batch. So I think you might have seen that in my WhatsApp status, right? So like and I had given the list of tools and also that I had mentioned that I'm going to cover. So this time we are going to add, like we are going to implement AI, where in what all areas we can use this AI in performance testing. I'm going to cover that with the help of my brother, one of my younger brother, came from US to India last week, right? So he, like, so he's an expert in Gen AI expert. He's a generation AI expert. So we are trying to do that, we are trying to implement, or we are trying to explore how can we leverage AI in performance testing, what all areas, whether it is test data creation or scripting, or like a result preparation, report preparation. So we are going to, we are going to implement it, or we are going to try it out for the first time. So that's why I had mentioned powered by AI. Okay, and also I am going to cover Java, JVM performance tuning also from this from the coming batch, right? So I mean till now I have been covering, but at a basic level. So I'm going to cover advanced level going forward, and fees may be more than current fee structure. And if you are interested, you can join for those particular sessions, like Java performance engineering sessions. If you are, any one of you are interested, by paying the difference fees, like fees different, like maybe like the fees will be like 5,000 more now. So you can pay that 5,000 and you can join that if you are interested. Okay. So, but for you, for attending interviews and clearing the interviews, whatever concepts I cover in this regular batch till now are enough, more than enough. Okay. Now, coming back to this. So I had asked you to set up MySQL database on your system, right? Let me start that first. Start the database. Once it is started, right. Okay. And once I start the database, next, what next? Do I need to start the Tomcat server also?
Yes, sir. Tomcat sir, Konakat admin page we need to follow.
Sure. Are you sure?
Yes, sir. Use it.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
I don't want to use Konakat application. I want to install some data into database. So no need of Tomcat here. No need of starting the application server here. What is Tomcat?
The Java
Tomcat is an application server, correct?
application.
So I want to insert some data into the database, right? So why do I need a Tomcat server? Why do I need to start Tomcat server? Not really required. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Really
Got
not
it.
required. Okay. So I'll use some database tool, but I'll use some database tool. So once I insert some data, I'm going to check that with the database tool. I'm going to, we are going to check that from the database tool, whether the data got inserted or not. So I'll use some database tool like dbeaver. And what is dbeaver? Yes, what is dbeaver? dbeaver is a database tool, and it is popular. It is a popular universal database tool, right? Did you observe that when we start the dbeaver or db visualizer, right? So it will show that universal database manager or something, right? Do you see that here? Universal database manager.
Yes.
Yes or no? Here it is, universal database manager. Why is it called as universal database manager?
Supports the multiple database.
Right. It supports, multiple database tools, multiple databases. Okay. It supports multiple databases. If you see here, if you go to new database connection, you see all these databases are supported by this single tool. You can connect to any of these databases using this dbeaver. Okay. And DB visualizer also. DB visualizer is another popular tool that we use mostly. Or like most of the companies, most of the performance engineers use this DB visualizer as well. Okay, I think I don't have that tool installed on this machine, so I have it on my other machine. So I think I had asked you to install DB visualizer also. And if you practice or if you get hands on one of these tools, the other tool will be very easy. It will be almost similar. Okay. All right. So now first, what are we going to do is I am going to insert some data into customers database. I'll try to insert some data into the customers database. Now, first, what will I do is let me show you like how many records are there in the customers database. First, I am running only this part of the query. Select star from customers. Okay, or else I'll paste it here. Select star from customers. So I'm executing only this query. I'm selecting this query and I'm executing only this query. Now see here, there are 200 plus records. There are 200 plus records, but by default it gets only 200 because see, you can see here 200 rows fetched, but actually there are 200 plus records, isn't it? If you want to see what is the total number of records in this customers table, you click on this calculate total row count. You see that there is an icon next to that, and if you hover your mouse over there, it is showing the total row, option to calculate that to get the total row count, isn't it? Now see here how many records are there now. It did not fetch, but it got the total number of records as 4006. Clear, guys? There are 4006 records in the customers table. Is everyone clear on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Before JDBC sampler request, before executing JDBC request sampler, okay, before executing JDBC request sampler, how many records do we have? 4006. 6 records in which table? Customer table, customers table. Table of which application? Oh, sorry, which database? That MySQL database, right? This is MySQL database, and this is the schema. Konakat underscore schema is the schema name, right? And this is MySQL database. Clear, guys, everyone? There are 4006 records. Now of Konakat schema on MySQL DB. Okay. Now we know. Now let us see. Now we know how to connect to the database. What details are required to connect to the database? You can go to edit connection, right click on the schema name, edit connection, and you can get this URL over here. Observe here, you have the JDBC URL over here, right? You have the JDBC URL over here, isn't it? Now copy that URL and give it over here, JDBC URL in the place of JDBC URL, right? So if you don't know, if you don't know, like if you don't have this setup already, if you don't have this setup, existing in place, right? You can ask your dev team or you can ask your dev team. They will provide you the details. Okay, you can ask these details. You can ask what is the database URL for this application. And now what else do we require? We require username and password. We require credentials, isn't it? So username is root and password, I'll enter the password over here. Okay. You, so username is root, sorry, small letters, all small letters. Password is this one. I am entering the password. As it is password, it will not show you. It will not show you, or it won't be visible. And now one more important detail is JDBC driver class. Now what is this? What is the meaning of this JDBC driver class? Let me explain that. Okay. Just Google search for JDBC driver class for MySQL. Okay, MySQL 8. 8 is the version, database version. Okay. Now this is the the JDBC driver class name for MySQL 8 is com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver copy text. Use this copy text and give the driver class name over here. Now this is the class name. Okay. See in Java, this is Java naming convention. In Java, class name starts with a capital letter, and this is package structure. com.mysql.cj.jdbc is package structure. What is a package? What is a package in Java? Package means group of Java classes. Group of Java classes is called as a package. As simple as that. Okay. And in this package, we are using this Java class called as driver. That is the JDBC driver class, the name that you need to give. And one more step I had mentioned here, if you want to use this JDBC sampler, you need to add some jar file. What is that jar file? MySQL connector Java 8.0.21.jar. And how do you get this one? How do you get this one? Okay. So just Google search and download it. Download it from MySQL website. You can download it from MySQL website. You can download the jar file from MySQL website. Recording is in progress. Is recording in progress? Yeah. And where is the jar file? Do you see the jar file anywhere? Connectors, MySQL development, release engineering. Or else, I'll share through my Google Drive if it is not found. I had downloaded from internet, somewhere from the internet, but I don't. I don't remember the exact link, or I did not save it, but I'll share it. I'll share it through my, I'll share it to you through email or something. If you can't find it here. It's no, but this is 9.3. Okay, this is 9.3. You need to go to archives. Oh, archives is not working. So this is observe here, MySQL connector J 9.3.0 tar.zzr. You can download this one. But however, I'm not sure whether this works or not, MySQL, because MySQL, this is 9.3. Maybe this is for MySQL 9. But how to check the database version, by the way? How to check our DB version? Anyone? Google search. How to check the DB version? Or you can simply go to add or remove programs, right? And you'll have MySQL, right? Okay. Do you see it here or in services? Are you seeing anywhere in the services? MySQL 880, MySQL 80. That means this is version is 8 only, not 9. Okay. Properties. You can see here. Do you see here MySQL Server 8.0? Right. So this is MySQL 8 version 8. So obviously, this may not work. So this may not work. So I'll search for. Actually, I had searched for 8.0.21.jar only, isn't it? I'll do one thing. So I'll give one last try. If not, because archives is not working. Did you observe that? That archives page, if that page is working, if that link is working, you can download it from there. Yeah, we got it now. Now it worked. So go to MySQL. What is the jar file? What is the version? 8.0.21.jar. 8.0.21. Right? Select your operating system. Which one is this, jar file or MySQL download? Okay, hold on. Hold on, guys. Hold on. So connectors J. Okay, this is MySQL connector.jar. Okay, I download the older version. I go to archives. Seems like this is MySQL version, I think. This is not jar file version. Okay, okay. Let me check in my drive. Let me check if I have it in my drive. By the way, anyone got call from CGI?
No,
Yes,
sir.
am I audible? Anyone got call from CGI? I'm not asking any technical question, guys.
No, sir. No, for me not.
Okay, so you did not upload your CV also, right? So CJ is having a walk-in drive, scheduled walk-in drive this Saturday, 7th June. 7th June is Saturday. Is it Saturday? Yes. Okay. So this is the JD. Design and develop performance test scripts using JMeter and LoadRunner. Execute performance tests and analyze test results. Identify and document performance bottlenecks and issues. Collaborate with development team and operations team to address and resolve the performance issues. Right? So you can read that normal JD only, regular JD only. They are not asking, like any advanced knowledge or something. But they are asking for, they are looking for, but they want someone who can attend face-to-face interview. Of course, without face-to-face, you can't clear interviews nowadays. Okay, there will be at least one face-to-face round. Without even one face-to-face round, no one is releasing offer now. Okay, for your information. So no one got, no one is in active job search from your batch. Who all are in active job search from your batch, guys? Gopinath, Gopinath Sekar, Tejasvi. Did you start preparation or you'll start preparation once the batch is completed?
Yeah, I started
I have
preparation,
started
sir. I
preparation.
need to prepare the resume. Mostly this week we'll complete it. So then we'll upload the resumes.
Okay. You want me to forward this email that, where we have that CJ openings? So apply for that and attend, start attending interviews.
Sure, sir.
So see how many openings are there for performance testing. Teamwear Solutions Vijayawada. So this is the opening that I kept, last week in my WhatsApp status. Did anyone apply for that? Sapiens is another wonderful company. Very good company. They will conduct a written test. They will conduct a written test, and once you clear written test, then they will schedule the interviews. But our students can clear the written test very easily. Okay. So if you assimilated all the concepts, at least 75% of the concepts, that is enough to clear the written test. And most of the scrap will get filtered out in the written test itself. So you'll have very less competition for interviews in the interviews. So what are we? Yeah, where is that driver? I want to share that. See, why now I am unable to find it somehow. I'll do one thing. I'll upload that driver to my GitHub and I'll share it through GitHub now. But first I should be having it somewhere. Wait, let me search with that name. But there in my email search and drive. Okay, let me search in my machine then. We'll see. Let it run in the background. Okay. I had, anyways, I had upgraded my RAM recently to 24 GB. From 16 GB, I had added 8 more GB RAM. Because, when I'm trying to run a test, it is hitting 100%, right? 95%, 90%, it is touching 9500. That's why I had upgraded the RAM to 24 GB. Okay, from 16 GB. Okay, so let it run in the background. So meanwhile, I'll try to search it, and I'll try to download it. Just give me a. This is jar file. This is jar file only, guys. Okay. So how did I reach this page? I went to archives. Okay. I went to archives, and you can see that MySQL connector Java 8.0.21.zip. Now click on this download button to download it. It is platform independent one. It works on any operating system. Other than that, they gave platform specific jar files also. So however, I will download that platform independent jar file because we don't have a Windows option, Windows operating system option. So I had selected that platform independent one. And once you download that jar file, extract the jar file and copy that to, where should we copy it? JMeter libbxt directory. Okay, JMeter's libbxt directory. It won't be there by default if I am correct. Let me show you that. Let's verify if it is there by default. Okay, March 2025 JMeter morning batch. Libext, right? So it won't be there by default if I remember it correctly. It won't be there by default. You don't have it, right? What is the jar file that we are downloading now? What is the jar file that we are downloading? I got the file. I don't want to search, continue search. MySQL connector Java. So do you see that MySQL connector Java jar file anywhere? No, right? There is no jar file with which starts with letter M at all. First thing, in first place. Okay, so I'll close all this. Now once you download the jar file, extract the zip file. Once you download the zip file, extract it. Extract all. Now here is your zip file. Sorry, here is your jar file. Now copy this jar file. You need not copy all the files. Just copy that jar file alone to your JMeter libext. Libext. And is it enough if you copy the jar file? Oh, can we go ahead?
Restart.
Restart the JMeter.
Right, we need to restart JMeter because like we copied it after starting this JMeter instance, right? So we need to restart it. Then only it will pick the changes. Once you copy any jar file or once you change any property, right? JMeter properties, you need to restart your JMeter again. Then it will pick up that jar file. Oh, before that I should have tested it. Okay, I'll do that again. So now open the script once it is restarted. So you can actually run that configuration element and you can check it actually. You can check, see for now I'll disable this. I did not add the JDBC request, I'll add a listener called view results tree. Okay. And I will replay the script once. I'll replay only this connection configuration element. I'll replay only that connection configuration element. Hey, what happened to this? Why did I lose this JDBC driver class? Maybe I did not save it. How did we search it? JDBC driver class name for MySQL 8. Copy text. Isn't it not getting saved? Second, huh? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, guys. So you need to select from the drop down. Okay, I got it. So com.mysql org.jdbc com.ingress. Sorry, guys. Sorry. So you need to select from the drop down only. That is why it did not get saved. Now let me save it. Otherwise, it should be saved now. Okay. form.mysql.jdbc mysql.jdbc.driver is the driver class, JDBC driver class. It will be saved once you select it. It will be saved, but you need to select it from the drop down only. Let me show you that. So this time you will be able to see that. That will be there, selected, or that will be visible. That should be visible. Now I will try to check this connection first. I will try to verify whether I am able to establish a connection or not first. I'll just run that connection configuration element. Why did I give it spaces? First correct that. You should not have the, let us follow the naming conventions. Where is that? Rename this. Don't give spaces, use camel case. Can I rename like this now? Or will it cause any issues? Can I rename like this, or will it cause any issues?
No issues, sir.
You'll not get any issues, guys. Okay, you'll not get any issues, but you need to click open and select that file, because you can't select from recent files. You can't select from recent files because the name got changed, isn't it? So when the name got changed, right? So what is it saying? System cannot find the file specified, obviously, because we had changed the name. So we need to select that. We need to open it again. Okay, like this. Click open, and ultimate thread group only, right? Yes. So now, yeah, now you can see that, right? Now you can see that driver class name. And what is this error? I am seeing one error message. Let us see. Let's see what is that error message. What is this error message? Okay, this as a error message is due to that, like previously I had selected this one, right? So yeah, that is related to that one, not related to the current script. Understand, guys? There are no errors now. If you want, you can save it. And now let me run the script now. Let me, see what I'm trying to do is, I think, say I used it this long back. I mean, we use this very rarely. I think we can verify we can verify only this element and verify whether the connection is established or not. Okay. And also we need to give some pool name, database connection pool name. So I'll give it as MySQL DB connection pool. Or you can give any name. If there is no rule that you have to give only MySQL, you can give any name actually here. You can simply give my connection pool, my DB connection pool, or test DB connection pool. You can give any name here. Now let me replay the script and let us see what do we see in the view results tree. Are we seeing anything? It's not running, right? Okay. Okay. I think we cannot verify like this, guys. We can't verify like this. Okay. Now let me connect to the. Let me enable this, and let me send a. Let me select update statement. So I want to insert some data into the database. Do you have insert query? No, right? You have a update statement. Okay. Or you have a select statement. Okay. First we'll try select statement. Okay. So, and whatever name you gave here, right? You need to pass that name. So you gave some name here, right? You should give the exact name over here. You should give the exact name over here. Variable name of pool declared in JDBC connection configuration. So clearly they gave clear description over here, right? Variable name of pool declared in JDBC connection configuration. That means whatever name you gave here for the connection pool, that name should be passed over there. Clear, everyone? And connection properties, I think this is not mandatory. This is optional. I think we'll see that. If it doesn't work, then we'll look into it. Now I had selected query type as select statement. And now what will I do is I will write some select query here. Select star from customers. Select star from customers. And now let us run the script. That's it. Okay. You need to type your query here. See, observe here. You need to select the query type, whether it is select query or update or callable statement, etc. And then you need to write the corresponding query here. make sure that you select the right query type. See, the query that I am going to try is select star from customers. That should get the customers details, customer number of records in the customers table. So I need to select statement, obviously. Okay. If you select something else, it won't work, obviously. Now let me try to run the script. So last two batches, what I did is I had shared the recorded session. So I did not, I forgot these concepts are, like what's happening? Nothing is going right. Nothing is happening. What's happening, guys? How to check, why it is not working? How can we check that?
Top on the right.
So basically, you need to add one, thread group here. Okay, we'll do one thing. This is because of ultimate thread group. I think I will add a normal thread group. We don't need an ultimate thread group actually. So I'll add these three. I'll add these three to a normal thread group. By default, you'll have one user under a thread group, right? I'll remove this ultimate thread group. Not really required actually. So now I'll run this, save it. Let me run this. Now it ran now. You see here, JDBC request is successful. Is it successful or not? Let us see. Right? So you are seeing that JDBC request, but JDBC, it is a config element. That is why you are not seeing that. You understood why, that you don't have any entry here for connection configuration is it is a config element. And now let us see what response you got. You got all the customer details, right? Wonderful, right? What response you got, guys? How many records you got? How many records are there in the table?
4006.
4006 records are there. And you got all those 4006 records?
Yeah.
We are able to connect to the database and we are able to fetch the data with the help of a JDBC request sampler, right? And suppose if you want to insert data, use update statement. If you want to insert data, use update statement. Okay, mostly you will be using either select statement or mostly you'll be using insert statement actually. If you want to, if you want to insert some data, use update statement and you need to write that query here, insert into table. You should know the corresponding insert query, that SQL query, MySQL query. Okay, sorry, SQL query, not MySQL. MySQL is database name, right? So you should know the corresponding SQL query or you should have the corresponding insert query into the database. First, we'll try it here, insert into customers. And now, insert into customers, this is the keyword and insert into is the keyword and customers is the table name. And now you need to, you need to frame your query here, right? So how to insert data into the database? Insert into customers. What next?
Values.
Insert into customers values. Okay.
Then
Next. Huh?
Customer ID. Comma.
Customer ID, comma, right?
Customer name in string.
Customer gender, customer name.
How do we know, what are the mandatory fields? Do I need to enter all the values? First of all, if I want to insert some record into the database, do I need to fill all these values? There are a lot of values, right? Do I need to enter all the values?
No need, sir.
No need. Then how can I determine what are the mandatory fields in the database?
Email address.
Now, how do I know that first of all? Okay, I know that email ID is mandatory, but how can we check, what are the mandatory fields? If I want to insert some record, right? There is no rule that you have to give values for all the fields, isn't it? See, you have some null values here. Means this column is accepting null values. This is accepting null values. Means it is okay if you don't mention these values also, right? But how do I know what are the mandatory fields in a table? You can simply use describe customers, DESC for describe, isn't it? DESC for describe. And if you see, describe and if you give the table name, you will see a table like this. Now see here, it doesn't, allow null values. See, observe here, null no means it doesn't, you must and should, you have to enter some value for this, for customer ID, customer gender, first name, last name, date of birth, and all this. But wherever you have yes, then you can skip those values. All the fields with yes, null value as yes can be skipped. Clear, guys? So that is how you know what are the mandatory fields in the data in that table. Okay. Now customer ID is mandatory, gender is mandatory. We entered that. Next, customer's first name is mandatory, isn't it? Customers underscore first name. Next, customers underscore
Last name.
last name, right? And customers underscore date of birth. You didn't come across this describe command in the MySQL tutorials? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Customers underscore email underscore address, right? Then ADDRESS. There is a typo here. Okay. So observe here, as soon as if I type the correct field name, it is identifying it and it is changing the color. Otherwise, it is showing in a different color, isn't it? What are the other mandatory fields? Email address, tarvata, customer's default address ID. This is also null value, no. Null value is mentioned as no here. So customer's default address ID, it seems. So customer's default, default address ID. You need not type the whole thing. You can select it from the drop down. And then what else? Customer's telephone is mandatory. Password is mandatory. I think that is the end of the list, end of the important parameters. Okay, customers underscore what is that? Telephone, comma. Next, customers underscore password. Next, anything else? Customer's password. Other than that, I see yes for all most of the other fields. Let's scroll down and see that. Okay, invisible under. There is one more field called invisible, right? So wherever you have, no, right, then you need to, I think you need to enter it. Okay, let us try. Let's try. So, what next now? Once you give all the mandatory fields, what is the next thing? Okay, can we split into two lines like this?
Yes, sir.
Now, yeah, what next?
Copy and run.
You need to fill all the values here, but values, it should be there here or here.
Value should be, data ఇచ్చినప్పుడు values ఇవ్వాలి.
Right. Values ichaka, then you give the actual values, isn't it?
Yes.
Guys, I had asked you to practice these SQL queries. Okay. I am not attending any interviews, right? So I may forget it. It's fine if I don't know also. But you are going to attend interviews, right? Yes or no? Or you are going to work on this? One second. There is insert query update will be update, right? So update table name, not update. Where is insert query? And or not insert into. Yeah. So what is the query? Insert into table name values followed by values, right? Followed by the values. Now insert into table name columns. This is done, right? And then values. And now you need to give the specify the values of for those. Okay. Now you see this can't be null as well as customer ID can't be null. And this is PRI. What is this PRI? Primary key, right? It indicates that this is the primary key. What is the primary key?
It's a unique one. You can't enter the duplicate.
Right. You can't enter it. It can't be duplicated. It should be unique. And now, right now we have how many records? 4006 records, isn't it? We have 4006 records in the, sorry, not here. So we have 4006 records, when we executed this command, we saw that, isn't it? So I'll give 4007. That should be the next one, isn't it? So can I pass the value directly like this, or should I pass it in single quotes or double quotes?
Single quote.
In string only we can pass in single quote. Otherwise we can pass directly.
You should pass like this. Observe here. Values, you should pass it in. You can pass it in single quotes like this, right? Clear, guys?
Only for character we can pass in single
Right.
quote.
Only for characters you need to
Yeah.
use, only for characters, but here I see the numbers also they had used single quotes. So it depends on the, it depends on the declaration basically. So if you see here, so this is character. ID is an integer. Gender is character. This is varchar. So whatever is defined as a character, you need to put it in single quotes. But integers you can pass directly like this, I think. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now what is the next value? Customer ID is a integer, but customer gender is character. So what should we pass it here? What should we pass? M or F1 kunta. Only thing let me check. Select star from customers. Select star from let me execute this query. Or can we see the results now without losing this? Okay, let me execute this. What is there in that? We'll go back again. Yeah, customer gender can be M or F, male or female, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, then next. First name, last name, and all this, right? You need to give those first name, last name, and all this. This is last name. This is for last name. Then date of birth.
Date of birth.
So date of birth, it is date and time. Okay, and it should be in this format. I think default is this format. I think. Okay, so I think first we should give year. Okay, first I think we should give year. 6. Then we don't know what is month. Month and data or year and date and month. Usually starts year to start అయితే month and date ఉంటుంది. I'll try it. See, like we'll try that. Like if it is wrong, it will query will fail. That's it, right? So we'll not launch. We are not launching any rocket here, right? So let's try that. Email address is varchar. Then what next? After email address, default address ID enter. Customer default address ID. What is that address ID? What does it mean? Again, you need to go to see the table description. See the description or see the data. Sorry, execute that query and see the data that it returns. Customer date of birth. See, observe here. This is date of birth is in year, month, date format. I think. Yeah. Oh, okay. What is that default address ID, guys? What is it?
Updating the query from backend differ from creating an ID from front end, right? Because when we create an ID from front end, so the data may go into different tables, like user table, auth table, many tables it will go, right? So updating only customer table may create some problem, right? So is it correct or?
Maybe, maybe valid one. I'm not sure. But like if you want to, so basically what I'm trying to show you is if you want to insert some data, right? So if you get so this you can get it from the client will provide this. For example, if you want to do database testing or like if you get this query, like what are the mandatory fields that you need to fill, and then you can run this update statement and put that insert query over here and run it here. So just like how this so it will work just like how this select statement worked. Okay, when I executed it, we got all the select query got executed, right? That is how you will get that. You'll get the results. So, but I'm not sure on that, like whatever you are asking. So updating from the database, I'm not sure on that actually. I think we can do it, but I'm really not sure. Okay, so I try to execute this query and frame the query first in the DB tool and copy that query to that JMeter and try to execute that query and see. Okay, So this is anyways, this is not a production database or this is not a confidential data, right? So if it goes wrong, let it go wrong. But but you got an idea like how to run a SQL query from JMeter, right? First, you need to use a JDBC connection configuration element, and then you need to add a JDBC request sampler, and you need to select the query type. You need to give the connection pool name over here, and you need to insert the query over here. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So you can try that, guys. Try that insert query if it works, or if it causes some issue. So you can try it on your own. Okay. So what else? So fill the remaining fields and try it, guys. Give a try. Or else it is almost done, right? Let me try it. Okay. After email, what is the next one? Default address ID under. So 39, this number we don't know what is this default address ID. First, let me check this. Describe customers. Default address ID and it is just an integer, and it is it is not unique or something. It need not be unique. I think I'll give some existing one and see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'll give some existing ones and let's see what happens. Okay, 3784 is done. If it doesn't work, then we'll think about 3784, and then customer's telephone. That 90592193999. Next, what next? Customer's telephone done. Customer's password. Oh, password. I think we need to pass a. Let me try to give some string. Okay, I'll just give password. Let's try this if it works or not. First of all, try it on the DB side. Try it on the database side first, and if it tries, then only try it from your JMeter. Okay. What is it saying? Any issue or error? Updated rows 1. It got inserted, right? You see that updated rows 1 means that got inserted. And now if you see the count, right? Select star from select star from customers table. Okay. You should get, click on this store, calculate total row count. You got 4007. One record got added into the DB, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So now I will get that, I gave last name as Mandala, right? So I'll try that now. So you should see that record now. You should see that record somewhere out here. This is the record that got inserted. This is the date of birth that I gave, right? Okay, customer ID, it has auto incremented. No, sorry. Customer ID, I gave it manually. Customer's ID was given manually because, previously there are 4006 records. Now I gave it as 4007. But if you try to insert the same record again, will it work? So let's say, for example, I'll change the name. Okay. I'll change the first name. Now, will you be able to insert? You will not be able to insert, right? Because, this customer ID is unique, isn't it? It won't allow you that insert operation will not be successful. Do you see here duplicate entry 4007 for the key customers dot primary, right? So it is saying that, primary key is violated, right? That constraint is violated. So you can't insert it. So if you want to insert, you have to increment that number. You have to give some unique number, obviously. So that is primary key, right? So primary key can't be same, isn't it? So for this table, customer ID is the primary key. Clear, guys? Now you can see updated rows is 1. That means record got inserted into the DB. And how much time it took? It took hardly milliseconds. That is why you are not seeing any difference here. Now if you see, that, select star from customers, right? So you should see, if you see the total row count, it is 4008. Now my query is working fine. Now, copy this query and put it over here into your, select update statement here. Can we select update statement for insert query? Let's see that. Let us see. Okay. I'm changing the, customer ID. Okay. And rest all can be same, isn't it? Rest all can be same. Only, only customer ID is the primary key, correct? Yes or no? If you see describe customers table, so only this one is primary key. And what is this one? MUL means, any idea what is this MUL means? Anyone?
It's a multiple. Mhm.
Multiple, and it is used to indicate column is part of a non-unique index that allows duplicate values. So it will allow duplicate values, so it should work. This mail ID should work. Okay, I had just changed the customer ID, and if you want if you want to differentiate, right, I'll just give letter M in the last name. Okay, or else I'll give some other some other date of birth here. Okay, if you want to differentiate, okay, if you want to see that differentiate the two records, now save it and run it once, just to verify that we can run that. I believe, or I remember that we can run the insert query also using update statement. Let's see that. Request is successful, one update. You see that response, the response that we got is one update, right? That means that insert operation is successful. And now if you see select star from customers, how many records previously are there? 4,000. How many records are there previously?
2008.
2008. 2008 were there. Okay. Now we know. Now let us see. Now you can see that 4009 records are there, right? Yes or no? And so run this. Oh, I gave last name as M, right? I just gave last name as M. That's it, isn't it? This is the record that we inserted just now with this 1977 as date of birth. And this is the customer ID is 4009, right? Now we are able to insert data from JMeter, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, so remember these two elements, JDBC connection configuration and JDBC request sample. That's it. Okay. So that's all guys I have for today. We'll close it here right now and we'll continue tomorrow. Any queries before we close today's session? So in case if you send some wrong data, let's see what is the output that you see in the view results tree. Let me show you that also. I am running the query with the same data without changing the data. Now, just to show you, like if it fails, how does it look like? You can see that JDBC request in red color and you'll see the response body. What is it saying? Duplicate entry 4009 for key customers.primary, right? But if it is successful, it is showing one updates, isn't it? Otherwise, it is showing duplicate entry, or it will throw some error message. The corresponding error message or appropriate error message will be displayed. Clear? And these are JDBC URL and these are username is root, right? So in the response address, you are getting that. Okay. All right, guys. I'll stop it here for today. Now, if you want to do testing, if you want to do database testing with much user load, large user load, you increase that thread count and you can parameterize this data. You can keep all this data into a parameter file. Got it? If you want to insert different data every time, you can parameterize all these values over here. You can parameterize this. You can create a CSV dataset config. You can add that CSV dataset config to this, and you can keep all your values into that parameter file, and you can pick the values from the file. You can give how to pick the values or how to insert values from parameter file to JMeter script, right? So that parameterization and all will work as it is. It will work as it is, as you know. Okay, understood or no? Suppose you want to insert this, you want to test this query with 1000 users at a time, right? So you can give number of threads as 1000, right? And then you create a parameter file, add a CSV data config element called CSV dataset config, create a file and put all your data into the file, and here you replace these hard-coded values with parameter values, and then your JMeter will pick the values from that file. Will you do that?
Yes, sir. We'll try.
Try that. Like how to parameterize and how to create the test data with Excel and all, right? So please try it. Okay. So I'll stop it here, guys, for today. Any queries before we close today's session? 11:15. No queries? All right, then if you don't have any queries, I'm closing.